Hello, everyone. Prepare for the rock and roll king's secret story. Music from childhood. In November 1948, Elvis's family moved to Memphis, Tennessee, changing his life. Los Angeles was his destination. He pursued his singing career at Humes High School despite obstacles. Elvis dismissed his teacher's criticism of his singing after getting a C in music. In addition to singing "Keep Them Cold, Icy Fingers Off Me" sang, he impressed everyone with his guitar singing. Humble and teased as a mama's boy, he avoided public. Elvis Presley's musical collaborations began in 1950. He played guitar with his neighbor Lee Denson and created a loose band with 3 other lads, including Dorsey and Johnny Burnett, who would later pioneer rockabilly. This early cooperation helped Elvis polish his skills and try several musical styles. Elvis developed his unique style in junior year. His large sideburns and well-styled hair set him apart. His image, which would later represent rock and roll, began here. Elvis Presley loved music beyond school performances. He loved Lansky Brothers' bright clothes on Beale Street, Memphis's blues culture, and would subsequently visit the store for his fashion role models. Elvis felt confident enough to attend Hume's 1953 minstrel presentation in his senior year. His performance of Teresa Brewer's famous ballad, "Again With You," changed his career. Elvis was a regular student before the talent competition made him famous. He later said, "We Air became famous for his singing after failing music class and being shunned." He became more confident and passionate about music after this. Recordings take priority. Elvis was a natural ear player despite not reading music. He spent hours in record stores listening to his favorite artists, Hank Snow, Acuff, and Tubb. He wanted to sound like Southern gospel singer Jake Hess, whose deep melodies impressed him. Elvis loved white gospel harmonies. Like several of his pals, he could have attended whites-only blues clubs to expand his musical tastes. Elvis adored Rufus Thomas and Arthur Crudup, who influenced several of his later songs. Known blues musician B.B. King knew Elvis before his stardom since they resided on Beale Street. After graduating high school in June 1953, Elvis thought music was his calling. Elvis made a crucial move in August by signing with Memphis Recording Service, headed by Sam Phillips, who founded Sun Records. Elvis recorded "My Happiness" and "That's When Your Heartaches Begin" on a 2-sided Axitat CD for his mother's birthday, or to hear his voice on a record. This seemingly minor act started Elvis Presley's amazing music career. Elvis Presley joined the Memphis Recording Service in August 1953 for more than a song. Elvis reportedly asked studio owner Sam Phillips to find him, according to biographer Peter Guralnick. Elvis returned to Sun Records in January 1954 to record "I'll Never Stand in Your Way" and "It Wouldn't Be the Same Without You," out of desire. There was no immediate response to his efforts. Elvis's other failures included Songfellows, Eddie Bond's band, and local vocal quartet tryouts. Sam Phillips kept thinking about Elvis. Phillips wanted more people to realize black artists' creativity. After hearing Jimmy Sweeney's "Song Without You" in June 1954, he thought Elvis may fit in. Despite Elvis's struggles with the song, Phillips saw its promise and persuaded bassist Bill Black and guitarist Scotty Moore to record with Elvis on July 5, 1954. After a failed session, Elvis started singing Arthur Crudup's blues song, "That's All Right." Phillips noticed the beauty and spun. Moore and Black offered the blues, country, and gospel sound that would become rockabilly, which he wanted. Elvis Presley's "That's All Right" was played on Memphis radio, DJ Dewey Phillips's show 3 days later, to incredible response. Elvis's voice and personality captivated listeners who bombarded the station with calls. Dewey Phillips interviewed Elvis on air about his high school in response to the many callers. They believed he was black. While recording, they added a slapback echo effect to Bill Monroe's "Blue Moon of Kentucky." This song was released with Elvis Presley's first single, "The Single," which had "That's All Right" on the A-side and "Blue Moon of Kentucky" on the B-side. Embodied Elvis Presley's unique musical blend and launched his quick fame, "Get Famous." Elvis's popularity expanded as his songs shattered racial and musical norms. He immediately became the king of rock and roll with his dynamic live performances and pleasant personality. This title would define his career, changed the music industry, and last decades. Elvis Presley soared after recording That's All Right, his first song at Sun Records in Memphis in 1954. The song made him famous locally and immediately. Before signing with RCA Victor, Johnny appeared on The Louisiana Hayride. Elvis Presley's first album for NFC was a tremendous success in 1906. He broadened his musical reach with country and rock and roll. Elvis Presley's concerts were legendary. Huge crowds were drawn to his charisma, stage presence, and dancing skills, especially the Elvis Presley dance. He began touring and performing nationwide. He performed at concerts, theaters, symphonies, and television. These cultural events changed live entertainment. Elvis made his acting debut in the Civil War Western Love Me Tender that year, memorizing the script before filming. The film's success allowed Elvis to star in King Creole and Jailhouse Rock. Elvis struggled in film despite his fame. His flicks like We Jailhouse Rock were well received and popular. We Stay Away Joe, however, was not as well received. Elvis eventually lost trust in his cliched and poor films. He wanted more creative control over his company, military, and personal tragedies. Elvis's 1958 draft notification came after he had just started making music and movies. He lost popularity temporarily. A new age began after this life-changing incident. On 24th, Elvis Presley joined the Army at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas in March 1958. Photographers and admirers flocked to view the rock and roll king in a military uniform, sparking excitement. Elvis, ever charming, pledged to serve his country without favors. Elvis visited Fort Hood, Texas, March 28, September 17, 1958. Hard basic and advanced training. Company A, 2D Medium Tank Battalion, 37th Armor, was his assignment after volunteering. He recorded in Nashville during a 2-week sabbatical in early June, demonstrating his dedication to music. In early August, Elvis Presley's loving mother Gladys contracted hepatitis. Elvis took emergency leave on August 12 and returned to Memphis. 2 days later, his 46-year-old mother died of heart failure. Elvis's mother was close to him, therefore her death hurt him. Deep connection and compassion defined their relationship. Elvis's life was profoundly impacted by this devastating tragedy as an adult. Elvis served in the military despite his grief. He joined the 1st Medium Tank Battalion, 30-ton Armor, Dry D Armored Division, Ray Barracks, West Germany, for FC on October 1, 1908. Tank Reconnaissance Specialist, his information aided his unit's actions. Elvis's military service transformed him. It pushed his resilience, opened his eyes, and introduced fresh concepts. He proved he was a rock and roll legend and a committed soldier by serving his country despite his personal pain. Elvis Presley worked diligently and was promoted to Private Oneist in class on November 27, 1958, and Specialist 4th Class on June 1, 1959. His passion went beyond military service. Elvis liked amphetamines because they provided him energy and helped him lose weight while serving. He also loved karate and trained with Jürgen Seidel before adding it into his famous films. Elvis sought treatment like any other soldier despite his reputation. His fellow soldiers admired his charity and compassion. Elvis demonstrated his support for his fellow soldiers by buying base TVs, donating his wages, and buying extra hazmat suits for his unit. Elvis was honorably discharged from the Army on March 5, 1960. His distinguished military service shaped his life and instilled discipline and responsibility. Elvis left the military with a new purpose and direction despite his mother's death and his growing dependence on stimulants and barbiturates. Elvis Presley met his future wife, Priscilla Presley, in Germany, changing his life again. Their meeting started a rocky relationship with Priscilla, should fascinate global audiences. Elvis Presley loved 14-year-old Priscilla Presley in 1959. A friend introduced Elvis and Priscilla at his residence after they served in the military. Elvis's charm and youth impressed Priscilla more than his on-screen presence. Elvis liked Priscilla's elegance and attractiveness despite their age difference. Rags to Riches and Are You Lonesome Tonight were his emotional tunes for her. Priscilla cleverly said she wanted to be Elvis and noted he sung I'll See Hard to Get Sung more passionately. Their spark ignited a legendary love affair. Her relationship was intimate and loving. Elvis and Priscilla's first kiss is a priceless memento of their profound love. Elvis's charisma and honest vow to care for Priscilla stunned her parents. Elvis and Priscilla fell in love despite their 10-year age gap. She found comfort in her nighttime routine. Priscilla dressed as Elvis and danced, sang, and laughed for hours. During the evening, they withdrew to Elvis' bedroom, where each passionate kiss strengthened their connection. It was clear Elvis and Priscilla loved deeply. However, their 1967 marriage completed their bodily bond. This decision showed Elvis's regard for Priscilla and their tight emotional tie during a time of social change. Priscilla nostalgically remembered their special intimacy beyond sexuality. After Elvis was forced to return to America from the German army, their friendship soured. M2. March. A sad last night of longing and uncertainty occurred in 1960. In the pain of losing Elvis, Priscilla remembers feeling disoriented and unable to eat or sleep. Reporters and cameras kept harassing her. Their troubles were exacerbated by media hysteria. 21 days after Elvis left, he called Priscilla at 3 a.m. to show his love and concern for her. He called her every 3 weeks to update her on his life, films, and collaborators despite the distance. 1902 and Sekhatzik pushed Priscilla's parents to allow her move to Los Angeles to be with Elvis because she was determined. She methodically planned her day and promised to write home often to calm her fears. Elvis had Priscilla stay at a friend's house the first night to avoid his ex-girlfriend, Anita Wood. The next day, they rushed to Las Vegas for a night of gambling, entertainment, and debauchery. Priscilla received amphetamines and sleeping medications from Elvis to keep up with his busy lifestyle. Because she wanted to be with Elvis and hear about his escapades, Priscilla took the tablets to send pre-written letters home and keep the illusion. Priscilla methodically fabricated her life with Elvis to hide it, following her parents' directions. They indulged in excess and adventure for 2 weeks, sleeping during the day and going on adventures at night. In December 1902, Priscilla and Elvis celebrated Christmas at Graceland, cementing their relationship. After coming to Memphis to be near Elvis, she struggled to get along with his family. Instead, she bonded with Elvis' grandma and brought her possessions to Graceland without Elvis's knowledge. When Elvis suggested Priscilla move in, she was already settled. The marriage life. Elvis kneeled before Priscilla in December 1966 and proposed with a 3.50-carat diamond ring. His generosity shocked Priscilla, who gladly accepted his offer. They were ready to start a new chapter once their love became a commitment. In an 8-minute ceremony in Las Vegas on May 1, 1967, they married. They celebrated their love and happiness in Palm Springs on an expensive honeymoon. Priscilla adored pampering her spouse. Their intimate bond led to the creation of a baby talk dialect only they could understand. Elvis shocked Priscilla 7 months after their wedding with a shocking discovery. He wanted a trial separation. This statement shocked Priscilla. Elvis told her, 7 months pregnant, that she had done nothing wrong, but that things weren't going well, and he wanted time to ponder. Only his own concerns and worries concerned him. The trial separation announcement unnerved Priscilla. Thus, she was depressed and worried about her marriage. Elvis's aloofness and personal issues damaged their perfect love story. Looking back, Priscilla recognized Elvis wanted a trial separation because he worried about fatherhood and his reputation. Fatherhood was awkward for Elvis, especially in the spotlight. Would his fans accept his fatherhood? Are they loyal to him? This ambiguity produced friction in their relationship, leading to a temporary breakup. Despite never discussing it, the separation lasted until Lisa Marie was born. When Priscilla went into labor in February 1908, they summoned their mother in New Jersey and rushed to the hospital in desperation. They got at the hospital in time for Lisa Marie's 5 p.m. delivery after a hospital accident. Elvis reveled in kissing Priscilla and seeing her healthy baby. He loved his daughter and couldn't believe he helped father her. Seeing Elvis as a loving parent inspired Priscilla. She perceived Elvis Presley as weak and helpless, unlike the famous Elvis. The couple briefly had closeness after their daughter was born. Elvis loved Lisa Marie and was enjoying parenthood. However, future hardships eclipsed their marriage pleasure. Elvis and Priscilla's love waned. Elvis Presley's demanding lovemaking style, celebrity demands, and both partners' adultery damaged their relationship. Their once loving marriage degenerated and ended in divorce. The birth of Lisa Marie strained Elvis and Priscilla's relationship. Priscilla sensed Elvis's reluctance to reconnect. She abandoned and excused it with her recovery. The memoir Elvis and Me by Priscilla showed that Elvis avoided ties with mothers. This indicated an even bigger marriage issue. Elvis had adulterous encounters while married, despite their early issues. Priscilla, miserable and abandoned, sought comfort in Mike Stone, her karate master, in the early 1970s. Since Elvis was still with another lady, Priscilla divorced Elvis in 1972 after their emotional separation. She noted his adultery had damaged their relationship, and that I no longer wanted to share with him. Priscilla admitted in a 2018 interview that her marriage dissolved because they lived separate lifestyles and change seemed impossible. Her depiction of love that faded into disillusionment and separation was touching. Elvis's ego and dignity were crushed when Priscilla left, according to his lover, Mayborn Axton. Divorce papers from 15. August 1972 testified that they had lived apart since February 23, 1972, and divided their assets. A large lump sum, luxury cars, a percentage of her assets, and 10 years of monthly maintenance were awarded to Priscilla. Elvis and Priscilla stayed close for their daughter despite their divorce. Lisa Marie, they loved and supported each other. Priscilla said they called Lisa by name, showing their longtime friendship and respect. Final years and legacy. Elvis and Priscilla remained close and fond after their divorce. They talked about their lives and ideas like they were still together. Elvis Presley's musician friend Charlie Hodge compared them to two high school sweethearts who still chatted about their goals. Elvis Presley died tragically at 42 on August 16, 1977. His death was caused by arrhythmia, a heart ailment worsened by prescription drug misuse, but the entire tale is more tragic and complex. Elvis became addicted to amphetamines in the early 1960s after being prescribed them for his energetic stage performances. He takes barbiturates to sleep. He started taking codeine and Demerol for his chronic pain and insomnia as his dependence on these opioids worsened. Elvis Presley's drug addiction spiraled throughout his final years. He frequently mixed amphetamines, coagulants, stimulants, sedatives, and painkillers. He had dangerously high blood pressure, persistent constipation, significant weight gain, and other health issues from this fatal combo. Ginger Alden, Elvis's sweetheart, found him resting in his toilet the day before his death. He slept on prescription drugs and ate a high-cholesterol meal. The coroner found that substance misuse and medical issues killed him. Elvis Presley's family publicly discussed his addiction after his death. Their testimony reveals his worst days and shows how drug usage damaged his physical and mental health. Elvis Presley's 1977 death shook the music industry, and his death is still contested. Elvis Presley's death was attributed to heart problems exacerbated by prescription medication misuse, but his addiction was a major issue. Vernon Presley, Elvis' father, made a shocking comment amid the sadness and uncertainty. Vernon exposed the true cause of Elvis Presley and Priscilla's divorce in a 1978 Good Housekeeping article. Vernon stated that he and Elvis's mother Gladys never influenced their son's marriage or career choices. She merely wanted him to be happy with his wife. Vernon called Priscilla independent, friendly, and hard-working. She went to Memphis in the early 1960s to finish high school while Elvis was in the German army. Vernon says Elvis divorced Priscilla because he realized he wasn't ready for marriage after the wedding. He recognized how Elvis Presley's grueling touring schedule, especially after Lisa Marie's birth, caused repeated separations. Vernon learned that Elvis loved his daughter and she loved her father despite their marital issues. Elvis was satisfied with his father-daughter relationship when his marriage failed. Vernon's disclosure illuminates Elvis Presley's complicated personal life and marriage breakdown. It shows that Elvis struggled with marriage responsibilities despite his money and stardom. Career pressure and a craving for independence destroyed his relationship.